This man right here was born and raised in Guatemala. He grew up extremely poor, and at the age of 15, he had to come to America and work in order to get money for his family back home. This one story is one of many that happen in normal Hispanic countries. That is why they come here to America to seek better lives for themselves and their families. Today, I will be trying to persuade you on how the recent ICE raids that are going on in America right now are a representation of racial profiling against Hispanic and Latino communities. I'm credible to talk to you about this today because I'm Hispanic myself, and this is a fear for myself and my family as well. Your reason to listen is that you will become smarter and more aware about what's going on. To preview, I will first go over the problem, then the cause of the problem, after that, my solutions, and finally the opposition. Now that you know what I'm going to be talking about today, let's go into the problem. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, was created in 2003 under George Bush's presidency. This statement by Director of ICE Todd Lyons states how the mission of ICE is to protect the U.S. from illegal immigration that threatens national security. I want to put an emphasis on threatening national security. They say they're doing that, however, they're going into construction sites, farm fields, medical facilities, and etc. to get these so-called criminals. You do not find criminals in these normal places. You find innocent people trying to get money for their families, and they would have known that if they were actually looking for criminals. These 6 individuals are 6 of many who have been wrongfully racially profiled and accidentally deported. These 6 are U.S. citizens and some that have green cards as well. But why are they being arrested and detained? It's because ICE is going based on the color of their skin and the fact that they're Hispanic. Trace Reports is an organization that constantly is updating their information about ICE and their recent raids and their percentages. 71.7% of the current detainees don't have any real criminal convictions. This is a large number, and this just goes to show how ICE is not caring about who they're taking. They're just taking anybody in general and not focusing on the criminals. They're also arresting these people without a reason or probable cause on why they're being arrested. This violates the 4th and 5th Amendment. The 4th Amendment states how the right of the people is against unreasonable searches, and the 5th Amendment states how the government has to take legal processes first before they are resulting into somebody being deported. The Bill of Rights is not specific to any U.S. citizens or Americans in general. That means immigrants have these rights as well, but they are not being told that because ICE simply just doesn't care. Now that I went over the problem, let's get into the cause of the problem. This federal law that is under the Immigration and Nationality Act is almost the prime reason why they're just taking undocumented individuals in general. It's stated that ICE can rely on reasonable suspicion and they do not need a warrant about who they're taking. However, they're hiding behind this law and also the statement that Todd Lyons, the director, had said to justify their own actions. Now that I've gone into the cause, I will now go into my solutions. My number one solution is to make it illegal for federal organizations to arrest or stop people based on race, language, or appearance. This act right here, End Racial and Religious Profiling Act, was made by the Human Rights Campaign in 2003. It was introduced to Congress twice, but it had never passed Senate or the House at all. That means it's not a law yet. The goal is to turn this act into a law to protect those who are being wrongfully accused and wrongfully racially profiled, so that they have something under their belt along with the 4th and 5th Amendment. Now that I've gone over the cause, I want to go into the oppositions. More than anything, the oppositions or people who would oppose me are ICE officials and the government in general. They would state how ICE is just doing their jobs. And I understand by them doing their jobs, they want to protect the U.S. from illegal immigrants that are actually criminals. However, everything that I've stated is basically pointing towards that they're not prioritizing criminals anymore. They're just taking undocumented immigrants in general. These cases right here are lawsuits against ICE and the US government that are based on racially profiling US citizens and those with green cards. This lawsuit right here, ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, this is an active lawsuit that was presented in July 2025, and their defendants have stated that the ICE agents don't have any actual information about who they're taking before they're taking them. How are they supposed to know if the person is a criminal or a US citizen if they don't have any prior information about it? And that the ICE agents are not identifying themselves and not stating why somebody is being wrongfully taken. That also goes back to where I said how it violates the 4th and 5th Amendment. And they're basically breaking the law, but they're hiding behind the fact that they're just doing their jobs and this is what they have to do. Now that I've gone over my opposition, I would like to conclude. First, I will review about what I've talked about. I talked about the problem, then the cause of the problem, after that, my solutions, and finally the opposition. I want to circle back to the introduction about the Guatemalan man. That man is my dad. Yes, he came into this country illegally, I get it. But if it weren't for him, I would not be here today, like at all. And I would not be Blanket Girl either. So, and I'm very proud to call him my dad. He is such a hard worker and he has taught me to be a hard worker myself. And that is something that I will never be ashamed of and nobody should either. These two petitions right here, sorry. These two petitions go back to the End Racial and Religious Profiling Act. It is very important for you guys to protect these individuals. I'm sorry. It is sad to see the people who are being taken and wrongfully accused of these not reasonable crimes. And I think about my dad in that situation. So please, protect anybody who is not from here because they are just trying to make a better life for themselves.